मैडम स्टार्ट करिए।
Aditya, you can start the session.
Okay, ma'am. Very good afternoon to one and all. Today, as we all know that we are celebrating the Women's Week we are celebrating the International Women Week. And in continuation with that, WIRC is continuously organizing 15 days program. And today we are having a very interesting session program on women in diversity driving the industry. So friends, here I welcome you all. Today we have the galaxy of panelists with us: CA Pinky Mehta, CFO at Aditya Birla Capital Limited; CA Sharada Sundar, founder of Sara Life Consulting; CA Neetu Kashiramka, CFO VIP Industries Limited; CA Smita Parulkar. Here, I welcome you all, ma'am, and it's sheer pleasure and honor to have you all in today's session organized by WIRC of ICAI. I would request all to please raise for the ICAI motto.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यति कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता.
Now I request our immediate past Vice Chairman of WIRC of ICI, CA Drishti Desai, to welcome all our panelists and participants. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, Dipti, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm really very happy to be on this platform of WIRC. And of course, the panelist, we have Pinky Madam, Pinky Mehta, whom I really revere. Neetu Madam doing a fantastic job, and we also have Smita Madam with us to spare their valuable insights. Today what we need is really some insights as achievers. What insights they can share with us so that we can also, many women will also be able to benefit. And it's not just about women, I would say. It is about an overall understanding of the position of the professional woman in the social and the economic space, which has to be recognized. And once that is recognized, then we can have a lot of growth potential for women in profession. I think we have excellent panel. And just a little bit from my side, I want to say about Pinky Madam. When I was very new, means I just qualified, and I had a lot of interaction with Pinky Madam that time. She was already married, children, and I used to actually learn a lot about how to handle professional life and social and family life together. Excellent inputs that I have got from her. So this is the reason why she's so successful, and she's handling immense amount of work. If you are in her cabin even for half an hour, you'll realize the way she's jumping from one track to another, and she's absolutely hands on. So I think that kind of insight was so useful that you had shared with me while we had these informal interactions with Pinky Madam. So I owe a lot to her for my professional career also. So it's really a pleasure to be here. And at WRC, first of all, I would say that it's so nice that all of you are here. You are really willing to share your insights with the fraternity and how to build diversity, because women can bring in a lot of diversity into the way work is done. A lot of HR factors are built into women naturally. So I think that's something which we can bring in. So the team building and the way we can motivate. All these things are very important for deliverables to come in. And I think that's where women can really contribute in a big way. Of course, professionally, it's the same, because there is one course, there's one degree, there's one everything is the same. It's just that other factors which a woman can bring on the platform and which can really build that additional for the team and for the organization. That's where I think we can really contribute in addition to our professional qualifications. So thank you so much, Dipti, and I would bring it back to you, that you can take the proceedings forward from here. And I would really like to hear from the women on panel today to share with us what are their insights on the diversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Drishti Madam, for such a wonderful and warm welcome to all our panelists and participants. Really, we all are geared up for this coming 2 hours session with all the learned panelists which we have today. So with these words, now I request CA Meenakshi Gupta to please introduce our today's panel moderator, CA Sharada Sundar. Over to you, Meenakshi ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be part in whatever small way of this wonderful discussion which is going to be held today. And I would like to introduce our panel moderator today. She is Ms. Sharada Sundar. She is an ex-C-suite executive who is having 25 plus years of corporate experience in various leadership positions in the corporate world. In her current role, she's the founder of Sara Life Consulting, where she guides professionals to explore and live their purpose and full potential. She is an executive coach, business consultant, mentor to women. Of course, she's a chartered accountant. That's why probably she's here, one of the biggest reasons, and an independent director on corporate boards. So this is a brief introduction. We are looking forward to hand over to Ms. Sharada Sundar.
Thank you, Meenakshi, and a very good evening to all. And welcome to this really power-packed session of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India's Western India Regional Council. And today's discussion is going to be on women in diversity, driving the industry. I love the word driving the industry. So for the first time, you see women in the driver's seat, yeah, and taking ownership of this and creating inspirational stories for other women to follow, okay? And as we all know, with persistent voice for building diversity, inclusivity, and equity, the world has finally started seeing change, right? We do see slow but definitive changes in this direction, where women are getting more and more empowered and women are able to work outside of their just household work, right? And each passing year, while we celebrate Women's Day, it is also important to reflect, what progress have we really made? Have women really been empowered? Are they rising up, or it's just happening at the grassroots level and they're dropping off the career ladder? Is the environment giving her enough support to manage both her work at office and work at home? Is she stretching? Most importantly, is the woman stretching herself to her full potential, or is she getting into a comfort zone and giving up midway? And what should women, including professionals like all of us here, chartered accountants, or like doctors, engineers, who have a fabulous career, but give it all up when their professional life gets sacrificed for personal demands, right? What such women should really do? And I think the beauty of people on the panel today is that they are all in organizations where, you know, organizations will be driving empowerment, equity, right? So what are we as organizations, as an industry, as institutions doing to help women do better, right? And give them equal opportunities, because I think the fact is that we are equally, if not more talented, right? And nobody can dispute that. I think, as Drishti ma'am also said, right, we bring much more to the table. It's just not the CA degree. We as women can bring much more to the table. So what is it that people can do, right, to allow those opportunities to shine for women? Give them equal opportunities. You need not give them more opportunities, but at least give them equal opportunities, right? So is the industry and corporates doing enough in that direction? And as women, are we lifting other women up? Are we guiding them? And again, I would like to go back to Drishti ma'am's example, where Pinky ma'am was a person without a knowledge. She was actually lifting up Drishti ma'am, saying that, hey, you can do it. And these are the ways you can do it, right? So one small thing can inspire so many other women to follow and take charge and really rise to the top. Yeah. So, and I think the biggest lessons from the pandemic has been that women have suffered much more than men in terms of giving up their careers when there was a demand on their time for the home front, right? What do such women do? How do we inspire them to say, hey, hop back, come back, and you can still, you know, make yourself a career woman and manage your life from here on? Not for anything else, so that you're gainfully employed, you become financially independent, and most importantly, you contribute to nation building. It's not about, like, I was talking to, I think, Pinky ma'am yesterday, and we were of the view that it's not always about the money that you earn. It's about how you use your potential, how you use your intelligence for building the nation, right? So I am absolutely thrilled to be on this panel. And as I said, it's a power-packed panel with stalwarts who are absolutely at the top of the game. And I would like to invite CA Pinky Mehta, CA Neetu Kashiramka, and CA Smita Parulkar. And I just want to make a request that each one of you introduce yourself. Yeah, let's start with Pinky Mehta.
Hi, thanks Drashti, thanks Sharada for the nice introductions. I think I really fit for such kind of introductions. I really don't know. Okay, let me start my career journey. That I have come from a business family, and I'm talking of the year of 80s, where, you know, the women are not being encouraged, at least in my community, you know, to have an higher education. Maximum educations would be a BA and a BCom and get married, to be very frank, you know. Chartered accountant, I think I am the first one in my caste to become a chartered accountant, ambition to become a chartered accountant. In fact, I wanted to become a doctor. But my dad said, no, okay, no, don't take a science field. At least at that point in time, BCom had a more value than the BSc. Because they said, BCom, at least you can contribute to your husband's business in looking at the accounts and the affairs and all these things of his business. You know, that's what the mindset at that point in time, you know. But fortunately, when I got married, I got a lot of, you know, the support from my in-laws, very educated. Fortunately, my sister-in-law was also working in the bank. So the question of my sitting at home never arose, you know, because my mother-in-law always encouraged her also to be in the bank and look after her kids and all these things. So I was fortunate enough that I had lots of support from my in-laws and my husband, you know, to take the career path. The journey was very difficult, to be very frank, because I joined a Marwari group. I'm the first woman to be, there was no ladies' toilet at that point in time when I joined the Birla group. Secretary also supposed to be the male. The reception is also supposed to be the male. You know, I have joined such kind of an environment, but I could stood through because I had a passion. The other thing I would give the success, you know, to my career is that I have always come out from my comfort zone. I've always taken up the challenges. I have come out from the comfort zone in the sense that I'm not aware of what kind of, you know, the functions I'll be able to handle. I did not have any knowledge. But sometimes what my experience tells me that you don't require to have a knowledge of 100% if any function is given. If you have a 20-40% of the knowledge and your common sense because you are educated, I think you are much able to run that functions, carrying the team together who are specialized in it, to be very frank. And that turned out to be a very good success story for me and for my team also, because I always carried my team together. We worked together, but giving a full credit to them, the buck stops at me. But always used to. And plus more of a, Drashti also said, and even Sharada, you said that as a woman, we bring much on the table. And the answer is very true, because we look at the different lens. We have an empathy. So the thing is that the way we look at our staff with humbleness at the time of their crisis, the way we help them, try to help them to sort out the matters, I think we really, that pays us, and they are going to give us very good thing in the return. I joined as a trainee and rose to the position of the CFO. But the thing is that to any woman who would like to have such kind of a journey, the ups and downs are going to come in the life. But only thing, your path should be clear that what you want to achieve. The God is going to give you the strength. Don't get deterred by a small obstacles or the pebbles comes in the way, Many occasions were there. And the thing is that even I had faced such kind of an occasion that I never, sometimes because of the commitment of the work, in the open houses, only my husband used to go. So that's an understanding used to be between me and my husband, that both the parents cannot attend the, the open house meeting. Okay. If one parent goes and take the full progress report from the teacher, I think with a child also, he should be happy that the one parent is able to contribute the time, to be very frank. I think we need to make them understand the children. My children have complained, Mama, at 4 o'clock, you never come to pick up us from the school. My all friends' mothers are coming and they are standing near the gate and, they are taking them and you never come. Then I used to tell them, beta, what you want? You want a quality life or you just want it like that? I think right now the kids also understands all these things from where we are coming from, to be very frank. So I think requires a support from everybody, right from the family and to your bosses also. I really contribute my, the success to my bosses also, that who empowered me, they train me, groom me, act as my mentor, and my organization's Birla group also, they encourage the diversity. They have given me coach wherever I wanted it. When I had attained the higher position, they have given me mentor and they have helped me each and every way, that how they groom up, not even me, but any talented employee for that matters, whether it is a male or a female. So I think this is a top-down approach. It comes from the top and, the way then you take it up and you grab the opportunity.
That is so beautifully put. I'd like to call you with your first name, if that's okay. Pinky, I think that was a fabulous share. And I think those beautiful things that you brought out in terms of using your support system and, the organization supporting your growth, I think that was a big one. I think hopefully many more organizations become so much more empathetic towards their women employees who are really struggling to stay on the ladder, right? So thanks for that lovely introduction. And may I now request Smita Parulkar to introduce herself.
Thank you, Sharada. Good afternoon to everyone. Let me first thank the WIRC for giving me this opportunity to participate in this panel discussion. I'm really honored. I'm Smita Parulkar. I'm a partner in Deloitte, India. I am in the professional services for the last 24 years. My focus is on direct tax matters, and I serve clients on corporate tax and international taxation. I was really inspired by what Pinky just shared. And just to share my journey with all of you all, my family was very keen that my siblings and I get good education. So as Pinky said, I was also the first girl child to go into higher education. And my family, my parents, my grandparents were totally supportive of this pursuit of CA education for myself. Post-qualification, I took a job with my current organization. And from there, I have never looked back. because first of all, tax was a subject which was always fascinating for me, even during my CA studies. And when I got this opportunity at the firm, then I decided to take the plunge and to share with you, how you grow in the firm or in your organization. My first challenge at my job came just within 3 months of joining the firm, when my immediate manager went on maternity leave, and there was nobody to supervise my work, and I had to work directly with the reporting partner, and he was a very senior partner and extremely meticulous in his work. So I took that as a challenge, and I made it a learning opportunity for myself, and I started taking more responsibilities at work. So, it is very important that you should never uh, think that, oh, this is a challenge, or this is an obstacle in my path, or this is a difficulty. There is always a learning out of every difficulty that you face in life. Uh, I actually had a lot of opportunities within the firm to work on different set of clients or different companies in different sectors, be it the manufacturing or a life science or a financial services. I took them all in stride. 10 years back, I got an opportunity to work on a secondment in our New York office. Now, that time I was married. I was into my 4th year of marriage. And it was like my husband's job was in Mumbai and he could not join me in US. So it was decided that, I will be going alone. I'll be working there, staying there for 2 years. And going into a totally new city, working in a different work environment than what you're used to. Actually, it was an opportunity which I'm ever thankful for, because that made me more independent and more stronger person than I was before. And it also, in fact, at the personal front also, it made me realize that how strong my support system is. Pinky mentioned about the family support, and this was the occasion when I also very clearly, and I'm very thankful to my family for that, because my in-laws were so understanding, and then they said that, this is fine, we are okay, you can please proceed. So I'm very thankful for them for this help that they gave me, which enabled me to jump further in my career. What excites me about my work every day is the opportunity that I get to, meet people, solve issues on a daily basis. Continuous learning is what is always fascinating for me. I have a very enthusiastic team, and they're always there to support me and work together. And of course, the people-centric culture that I work in. My journey to the top has been paved with a lot of hard work, self-learning, self-motivation. I always had encouraging bosses. And as I said, my team has been absolutely fantastic. I have had supportive peers. And as I said, a strong support system at home. And with my blessings of my parents and family, and of course, God's grace, it has helped me. I never realized that I have crossed 20 plus years. And I still think I have got many more to go to, and I'm very enthusiastic about it. That's about it from me, Sharada.
Wow, I think Smita, what amazing insights again, just like how we had fabulous gems of insights coming from Pinky's introduction. Additional gems that I picked up from your introduction was that how beautifully you converted every challenge into an opportunity, and how you allowed these challenges to expand yourself, to become more of yourself, to imbibe and learn new things and keep rising above. I think I think this is a common factor, right, in women who really succeed, is what do they do with the challenges that come to them. It's about what we do, what choices we make at that time. And both of you again reiterated the fact about collaboration with people at home and collaboration with people in the office. I think both of you talked about teams being so very important. So thank you again for those lovely insights that come from your life story. Thank you, Smita. And we now request Neetu Kashiramka to speak about herself and her journey.
Good afternoon, everyone. All my co-panelists, as well as the members from the WIRC and the participants. Happy to be part of this event today. So basically, Currently, I'm a CFO at VIP Industries, and my journey started way back November 97. I'm from November 97 batch. First job was Keval Kiran, small company. Okay, before that, let me come to my family background. So I'm from a Marwadi family, conservative Marwadi family, where education for a girl is maximum BCom, similar to what Pinky said. And 20 साल के हो जाएंगे शादी and खाना बनाओ बच्चे पालो. Okay, that was something which was built into us from childhood. But when I was 12, 13 years old, I always had a desire in my mind that I should do something in my life, because when I used to see around, only male members were getting more preference. And girl child was not getting so much preference. I always had this in my mind that I should do something whereby my parents will be known by my name, or at least people will recognize my parents like Neetu's parents. And that desire was there starting from when I was 12, 13 years old. And yes, that helped me to get into this career. But yes, challenge, when I was just completing my BCom, my dad and mom started seeing boys so that I can get married. And that's where the first challenge I had to overcome. I spoke to my mom, but my mom said, I can't do anything. That's how we have to. Sorry. She started saying, I got married at 15 years. Kya problem hai? Sab theek hai. And then one day in the night, I went to my dad and spoke to him that, please give me 3 years. I assure you that I'll complete everything in first attempt and allow me to do CA. And the day I give my final exam, if you tell me that day I'll get married, but please give me this 3 years. And yes, by God's grace, he agreed. So that was the turning point, and I thank my dad for that. And yes, after that, no looking back, everything cleared in first attempt. And then November 97 batch, joined Keval Kiran and Company. Worked there for 2 years. Experience was okay. Most of the people around were men. And the family was also Marwadi, and so they were conservative. And I thought maybe I may or may not be able to grow here. And I was looking for, opportunities. So those days that Ascent used to be 8-9 pages, and started scrolling. And everywhere I used to see that in the finance role, people used to write one sentence at the end, only men should apply. Every day, the same story, and only men should apply. One day, I saw this ad. It was a good size ad, and it said only women should apply.
Wow.
Okay, that was Jyoti Laboratories, where I spent 17.5 years.
Wow.
So this company, when I saw this, I actually told my husband, I want to work for this company only. Because in those days, I'm talking about late 99, early 2000, when they had written that only women should apply. Went for the interview, got selected. And after the interview, I actually asked the chairman, the MD at that point of time, that in the current environment, when everybody writes only men should apply, why did you write this women? I just want to know this. He told me 3 things. And today also I remember that. So one, he said women are more multitasking. They can do multiple jobs at the same time. Second thing he said was they are more loyal. And the third one, which touched my heart, was that if you give job to a woman, she gets respect in her family, and therefore she will give more than 100%. And that will help. And yes, so that's where my turning point of my career actually. And Jyoti Laboratory is very good, friendly for women. In fact, those days, 100% of the women in the corporate office was only women. Only chairman, the owner was male. Everybody was. So that was good to see. And we were 4 chartered accountants who were, appointed at the same time. The company was growing very fast. So they didn't know what to do. There was no job profile determined at that point of time. And they had hired 4 people saying, ki, we were growing so fast, we'll decide what to do and all that stuff. So there was no structured softwares or processes, because this was just 20 crore company and it was growing, doubling every year. Now, so we were 4 of us, and then we had divided some work together, and we started. But the other 3 left in 3 months. thinking, मतलब कुछ तो है नहीं, करेंगे क्या? But I took this as an opportunity, similar to what Smita said. See, I thought कुछ नहीं है, कुछ भी करेंगे तो दिखेगा. Even if I do something small, it will be visible, and therefore I will get recognition. And that's how I stayed on. Yes, first year was quite challenging because we were having tally. So there were some 28 manufacturing locations across India, and we were using tally, and then data used to come through physical printouts, and then we used to punch it, and then we used to report kya sale hua hai. And yeah, difficult, but then a lot of encouragement from the chairman, and we decided to go for an ERP implementation. So that was my first project, and we implemented ERP in the year 2001. You know, when even BSNL lines were not there, and we had 68 locations, and we connected the entire country, and that was my first success. And after that, I've handled everything which a finance professional can dream of in those 17 years of my journey at Jyoti. New opportunities. I handled IPO independently, then I handled QIP, then we did an acquisition, then we merged that entity. So I've seen the organization grow from 20 crores to 2000 crore. So that was my learning platform. Yes, challenges always came. I have 2 boys. So when my elder one was born, I had those days maternity leave was 3 months. So I had to get back to work, and I was thinking what to do. There was no support system at home at that point of time, and I started looking out for babysitting, and then realized a 3-month-old child and the babysitting, there are some 15 kids, 17 kids of different age group. What will happen? Like if somebody puts pen into his ears, or if they do this, that, with all those thoughts, it was like becoming impossible. And every day I used to come back and say, looks difficult. Then one day I was like, I saw one board which was a little shabby, and just went inside, and there was this lady. She took my child in her hands in such a way. I like said, I want this lady for my kid. She was a babysitter 10 years ago, but she had stopped because kids were doing well for her, and she said, now I don't need anything. So she refused, but I went to her 7 days, morning, evening, to convince her to take care of my child, and she agreed. So I think I owe my career to her. She took my kids' care from those 3 months to 12 years, both, exclusively for me. I think that was a God gift. And today she's 80 years, and I owe my career to her. My kids also go to meet her every month. So that was a great thing, which I think it's a God gift. And yes, after 17 years in January, I thought now kids have grown, let me take one leap. And I moved out of Jyoti and joined Greaves. And now I'm at VIP. Now my role is, apart from finance, also take care of legal, secretarial, IT, and commercial. So I have a larger horizon. And yes, that's my journey.
Wow, I think one inspiration after the other. And I think the things that I picked up from you, Neetu, was that, you know, how a little girl carried a really big passion in her heart to create her own identity and strive and struggle and do hard work for it. And how you kind of, again, the common theme that is coming across is, what did you do when you had challenges? How you just beautifully converted them into opportunities. And of course, the support system that you're talking about is so important for a woman, right? I think the how do you say, the foundation on which a woman can rise in her career depends on her support system. Yeah, and as I was listening to the three of you, I could not but think also about my journey and say that, you know, I was the first chartered accountant in my family. I was the first woman to be a postgraduate. And, you know, when I turned, you know, obviously 20, around that, my father was saying, okay, now we should look for a marriage. And, you know, my mom told that, hey, you know, she's just become a chartered accountant. Let her start her career. Let her, you know, kind of grow in her career. Okay, let's give her some time. And my father readily agreed. And this was like so many years ago, 30 odd years back, right? So I think the common theme has been the support, the little girl in us telling us, hey, we want to do something more, we want to become something more, and painstakingly working towards it without giving up. And Neetu, the one that you touched upon was so important about how we start getting worried about our children. I think this is the biggest thought that young mothers have, ki, how can I leave my kids at home? What if somebody doesn't take care of the kid properly? I'm accountable, I'll feel guilty, right? So I think, but when we have this passion and this vision saying, karna hai, so like God sends those, universe sends us those help. The right mates come, the right people come into your life, the right support system magically happens. And then we are allowed to fly. And
so I can just add, it's like, it is in your minds. I always believe that it's all in your minds.
Absolutely. जब हमने सोच लिया तो फिर मतलब
if there is a will, there is a will.
The universe conspires to help you. Yeah.
True.
So I think, and this has been a common theme in all the three of you. So thanks a lot for sharing your life stories and your journey so far. And I'm quite excited to ask Pinky the next question in terms of saying, is gender diversity really being practiced by organizations? Or is it just a tokenism, it's just a paper or a policy? Or how serious are organizations taking it today?
See, we have seen this trend in last at least 7-8 years that in all the organizations, they are promoting the gender diversity. Now, if you ask me my experience in my group, Birla group, that we promote a lot, In fact, we have many programs like a springboard program for the right talented woman, that who wants to reach to the ladder. Then we have a mentorship program. We have a coach program. Then even we make their bosses as their mentor and all. We have even told many times to, if don't leave the organizations, take sabbatical for 6 months, if it is not possible, to come to the work. And even we have allowed in many cases a work from home. So Sharada, this COVID has already taught us that with the digital world, the place is just a myth. Okay, right now also, I'm, attending this seminar from my residence. I came back from my office because I got a back-to-back meeting. Otherwise, I would have stuck up in the traffic. But my work is going on smoothly. There is no need for the physical presence. The digital, the technology has taught you that that you don't require a specific office to work. In fact, today also, because of COVID, I think none of our companies have started. Even my co-panelist can also, that not 100% attendance we are asking for. True. But the work is going on smoothly. See, all this co-panelists are CFO. I would like to ask the questions from that. Did we felt a need in closing our accounts starting from 30th of March to all the quarterly accounts? How many accounts would have gone? 30th March accounts, then 4 of FY21 and 4 of these 8 plus and AGM 2 times. Okay, 9 accounts, but we never felt a need that we should go to office or anything is missing for the auditors, to do a real audit. This is all thanks to the technology. Yeah. So on the contrary, my earnest request will be to all the females who have left their path halfway, that many of the companies now they've started and they've understood the success stories, and the proof is on the pudding of, it is already been there that you can work equally. Even their husbands have worked from home, and they have been successful enough. So I think you should come back, and many times now even I have heard of the companies that you are going to start. You come thrice in a week or 2 times in a week and work from home. See, ultimately the organization is, expecting the performance from us. As long as we perform, I think the myth that you should having such kind of, we have a mobile place for the staff. Now we have, except for the few seniors, we have our cabins because we have confidential papers in that. Otherwise, the workstations are mobile. Anybody can sit in anybody's workstation and they can work. So the only thing is that the gender diversity, lots of promotions has been given, not by my organizations, but all of them. Many of them even started the daycare, that you bring your child. They have a fantastic daycare. Many of the banks and the companies have also started, bring your child, you have a good, the people to take care of your child. You can go in between and, see that how they are, and you take back home when they are going home, so lots of things have been done. The second thing, even thanks to the Companies Act, that they have also said that the companies with some threshold, you should have an independent director. But that has come by way of an act. It has not come by way of what I say, the voluntarily, that you should have, even the woman should be there on the board. And many things needs to be learned by an independent director as a woman, because I've seen people, they shy away because they feel that they are the only one, because the companies, if the compliance needs to be there, so they will appoint only one woman director on the board. Rest all will be the male members will be there, So the thing is that they shy away. They feel if I ask such kind of questions, I will be treated as a fool. You should come out from all this kind of, the myth, and the contrary, if it is like, if you become an independent director or any of the board, go an extra mile. On the board of the manufacturing company, I always advise, many of them who come for my advice, that you tell the company secretary or a CFO to give you a briefing one day in advance before the board meeting. Visit their factory, visit their manufacturing unit, so at least you are aware of one kind of process and all of that. So walk an extra mile, understand the business, so at least you have a good knowledge of the company in which you are going to represent, so you can ask the valid questions.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous inputs, Pinky, about that the companies are really doing their bit to ensure women are comfortable and are able to stay on the career. That's really heartening, and we hope the tribe grows from here on. And to Smita, I'd like to ask that if the glass ceiling is really there, how can women, build resilience to break it? And do you think, women are doing enough, or what more can they do to persevere and break that ceiling? In your experience of, your 20, 24 years that you've seen this.
So that's a very good question, Sharada. See, to me, the glass ceiling exists only if you believe so. Because as Pinky mentioned very nicely, mindset is very important. So be it in a personal or professional life, mindset plays an important factor. Now, actually, if you see our country, we come from a glorious country which has got shining examples of women leaders. And I'm not talking about the recent past, but I'm talking about years back when, when we had women warriors like Rani Lakshmibai or Jizamata. More than 100 years back, we had the first female doctor. We are the only country where you have a woman prime minister, a woman president, many women governors. And we have women in the armed forces now. And of course, we have the women business leaders. So what is stopping us to break the glass ceiling? I think this is a very critical factor if we think about it. And, it is all to do with your mindset. Of course, there's no denying the fact that women have to fight more obstacles or biases and challenges than the male counterpart. But one can build resilience only by not giving up. Reality can be scary, but if we do not fight back, we will never achieve our goals. So for me, what I think is the most important thing for a woman where she wants to do a career is to have a goal for a career and consciously work towards achieving it. It could no doubt be a tightrope walk, because what with family responsibilities and work pressures. But if you accept the reality and continue the path, and most importantly, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, then I think there is no glass ceiling which is a barrier to any woman. On your question on the women on boardrooms, so I agree with Pinky that that has been mandated by the law in India, and that has been followed suit by the regulators like SEBI and IRDAI also, to have a woman participant in the board of the company, especially the large listed companies and insurance companies. I have some statistics with me. I can just tell you that. As per a recent study, we see that women hold 17.1% of the board seats in India. Now, this is definitely an increase from 2014, where the number was in a single digit. But only if you see, only 3.6% of the board chairs are women. And if you see, there's a decline in the board chair compared to the say last 4 years. But at the same time, we have increasing number of women taking up the CEO roles. So though the number is very small, it is not even 5%, but there is a slight increase from what we were 4 years back. So it is a progress, no doubt, but at a very snail pace. That is what I could say. Plus, there is also observation in the report that the stretch factor for women is increasingly higher. So what is the stretch factor is that the same number of women directors are acting as women directors, I mean as directors in a number of companies as compared to men. So the stretch factor is more for a woman. So diversity at the highest leadership level should come as as we have discussed from the top down. There has to be a voluntary process and acceptance of the process within the organization. And the diversity programs of organizations will make a major impact in all these matters, especially for the women breaking the glass ceiling, as we said, or reaching the top level in the organization. Then only the statistics will improve. That's my thought process.
No, that's lovely. That I think two very important takes. One is for organizations to have a top-down approach to encourage women to grow up, and of course the mindset of women themselves to say that, hey, I want to do it. I think that's something that it's a big inspiration that all of you have been giving to the audiences today here through all your talks, is that you own up your life, you can make it happen, right? So with that, I'd like to ask Neetu about, okay, so now finally the world has agreed that there are talented women, but there are not enough talented women in the organization, right? Earlier, people used to say there is a shortage of talented women, and that's why you don't see enough of them at the leadership roles. But today now people are willing to see and for themselves that there are enough and more talented women. But is still there, I'd just like to pick Neetu's mind on this, is there still a bias in terms of pay? Is there a pay disparity when it comes to people who are let's say women at the top versus men at the top? Are they getting equity in terms of pay, or is still there is a mindset that okay, she's a woman, she can be paid lesser?
So I would say the gap is coming down. Like what it used to be 10 years ago and what it is today, there is a good gap, reduction in that gap, but it's some more way to go. But I can also say that it's all upon us to decide what we want to do. So we also need to stand up for our rights. So I always tell people who come to me for some advice that don't compromise. If you are capable, if you are same qualified, similar, having similar number of years of experience, then you should not compromise. And somebody saying that, oh, you are women, so you can be paid less. No, we are no less. So always believe that we are no less. The second thing which I always tell women is always think you are the best and then command. So that will help you, because if you yourself think that, okay, you are inferior, then world will think that way only. So I would say that it's all in our hands. And as a professional at this level, I definitely don't keep this gap. I always believe in the talent and not in the gender. Second, I also encourage more ratio of women in the department. Like when I joined VIP, it was very lean on women. So I've started making sure that now all new recruits in my department are only women, because there was a huge gap. We are only 6% women in my department, as opposed to what I used to have in my previous organization, 40%, 50%. So I want to bridge this gap, and my target, what I've taken in next 3 to 5 years, we should be 40, 50%. So that's how I think I'm trying to do my bit.
That's lovely. Again, beautiful. I mean, about saying that talent is more important than gender, but at the same time, how do we build an equity by consciously paying attention to bridging the gap? So wonderful. And I think what I also pick is that if you have more women in the leaders position, I think women inclusivity will happen automatically, because the lens would be more like, hey, let me get talent in and let me not keep a woman away because she's a woman. Yeah, so I think that's brilliant. I would like to pick a very, okay, this must be, it sounds cliched, but a lot gets talked about work life balance, right? And a lot of professionals these days think that it is fashionable, including men and women, right? They think it's fashionable to say that work life balance is a myth. वो तो कभी होता ही नहीं है. You work in the big force, or you work in an industry, or you work in your own firm, whatever it is. There is nothing called work life balance. It's impossible to have it. But I think as women here who have seen sizable success, we all know in our hearts that we have managed because we knew how to master work life balance, right? So what are your thoughts on this, Pinky? I mean, we'd love to hear that.
See, you rightly said that work life is only the myth, where there is a will, there is a way, to be very frank. So the thing is that you need to plan your thing. The work is also going to be there. Your family is also going to be there. You should know where you require the time. Sometimes what will happen that you have some commitment in your family or some urgency in the family. At that point in time, your family is a priority. But in that case, if you have built up a good team, then I think there will not be a problem of any work delay, to be very frank. The similar way, when you have a priority in office, I have done many mergers, acquisitions, amalgamations, demergers and all these things. Lots of acquisitions. Now at that point in time, Sharada, you cannot tell that I need to go home. Because last 10 days are very crucial of sitting with the lawyer, drafting the agreements, and there will be to and fro from the buyer and the seller. If I am a buyer or somebody is a seller, if I am a seller, somebody is a buyer, on each and every clause, on each and every conditions and all these things, there will be too many to and fro. By both the legal counsels, by the companies, both the companies, their senior team and all these things. Lots of times it takes, plus stitching all the ends together before we have a board meeting to announce any mergers, acquisitions and all these things. So in that point in time, when your work is crucial, you should have a good supporting system at your family who takes care of your family. Maybe if you are lucky enough, like we all, me and Smita, like we have a support from our in-laws and all these things. Otherwise, you develop a good support system. Many times the neighbors also act as a good, so you should have a big heart, to be very frank, that if you want to stay in a joint family, my advice will be, don't break your head too much what your mother-in-law wants to do and all these things. Give that kitchen work to her, you simply help her, because you have many productive things to do it in your office, to be very frank. Don't try that I would be master in each and everything, Be like a good daughter-in-law, values her. If she's taking care of your, the family and all these things, value her contributions, value her sacrifice, try that not only when you need her, but you should arrange the program in a combined way, that in the sense, if you are going for any outings and all, please do take her also for the films and all these things. Yes, because she also becomes a part of the family, not just for to rearing your children and to look after your house, So I think it requires an understanding from both the sides, to be very frank. One from the team side, when you understand their problem and you be a part of their problem, they're definitely going to be the part of your problem, and they're not going to disturb you. They said, madam, aap apna ghar ka dekho. I'm telling you that they will say, madam, we will send you the papers. Just see to it whether the papers are proper or not. They will take a due care. Give them the sufficient delegations along with the ownership to the team, So they also feel it as a part of credit. Also, you should give them. Debits all ours. Then your team is going to work fantastically. If you have a maid at home who is looking after, make her as a part of your family member. That all depends. We all are dealing with humans. We are not dealing with machines. That I simply have to start and that will work. Everybody requires a good empathy. Good, that how you treat them, then that universe is going to pay you back good way. This is what I feel.
What a lovely answer, I would say. And I think everybody who has a mother-in-law at this moment and saying, oh my God, because of my mother-in-law, I'm not able to have work-life balance, will suddenly go back and say, let me give Jadoo ki jhappi to my mother-in-law. Open your hearts out to people who are your support system. And genuinely, I think that's such a beautiful insight you have shared, Pinky. A big thanks to you on behalf of all the young CAs who are listening to this conversation, because it's a great thing they carry back home and say that, why do I have struggles? Let me convert my struggles into, let me open my hearts out to the people who matter to my life. Wow, that's profound. And so I now would like to ask Neetu, and this is again a very, very important question. As you said, right, in some communities or most of India, I mean, not necessarily just some communities, there is a marriageable age, right? So when a woman is 20, 21, nowadays I think it's got pushed to 23 to 25 bracket, they are married off, and very often they are looked upon as a person who has to do work at home in terms of taking care of people, taking care of the extended family, and obviously taking the family tree forward by having babies and looking after them and all of that. So it's a big chunk of a responsibility, and all of us have done that as well. The point is, what would you say to these women who drop off the radar? There are a lot of chartered accountants and doctors. I know chartered accountants and doctors. You must be knowing a lot of chartered accountants, doctors and engineers who are women, who have struggled so hard. It's not easy to become a CA, right? It's still one of the toughest exams in the world. Yes. And you do all that and you just give it up one fine day and never come back. How would you want to inspire these people, to all those women who have kind of bent backward to have this degree and have given it all up because of their personal roles? What is that you would want to tell them, Neetu?
Okay. So this is something which was always in my mind. In fact, I had attended one program maybe 3-4 years ago of the institute where this data was presented. That those days it was this data, today numbers I don't know, but 60% of the women chartered accountants are housewives, not pursuing anything. I really felt so bad about this. Can you imagine 60% of the women who have completed their CA are not working or not utilizing their degree? It's really, I think it is a problem of the society and women themselves, women themselves also, because they have not pursued, they have given it up. I always also say that it's never too late. Okay, you have to come back. Maybe, you're taking breaks 6 months, 12 months, but you can come back anytime. In fact, I can give an example of my sister-in-law, who was again a chartered accountant. She decided, so my in-laws were free, they were allowing, but she decided, nahi, ghar, bacche, office, I don't want to do all this. I want to be a housewife. After 5 years, kids started going, and then she started thinking what to do. And when she came to me, I gave her this advice that start again. It's never too late. Today, she's also come up. Like, she has reached a reasonable level. So I'm saying it's never too late. You have to do it. And I again want to reiterate the same sentence which I mentioned in my earlier conversation also, that it is all in the minds. If there is a will, there is a way. You can find solutions. There are companies who are offering assignments short term, which you can do sitting at home. There are so many other options. In fact, I had offered these services to the institute on those days, that please create some platform wherein we can give this opportunity to the CA chartered accountants who are at home. They can do some such things for us. See, we have so many, times when there is so much of workload. For example, every year we have this budgeting exercise. Now, if there are some people who can do some work for us, we are happy to give. Every quarter, and sometime or the other, somebody is falling sick. We have crunch of, manpower. Some more assignments have come in, some new projects. So definitely there's always some work or the other. We are open to offer those kind of things. So I would urge institute to take a step, send some communication to these women who are homemakers, and people like us will definitely be ready to offer some services, something to them to start. Wow. And they can definitely come back.
Yeah, I think the first step becomes the most difficult one, and if the institute and people like you in the industry can facilitate that, that will be a big plus.
And not only women, I think even men will not shy away from offering this, but somebody has to approach.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree.
Need to have a platform.
Yeah, amazing. Lovely. So Smita, there have been women who have persevered through the earlier stages and whatever, but something as big as the pandemic, when it hit the world, women were the first ones who were expected to make the sacrifice on their career front. So, okay, this is something that has happened. Now, let us imagine hypothetically that some other global crisis comes up. How should women prepare better so that they don't fall off the grid? What are the 3 things that they could do probably and prepare for it?
So, right. I mean, the COVID pandemic hit us like a bag of bricks, and nobody was prepared. As you said that view what learnings we can get out of this if something of a similar scale and size hits us anytime in the future. So this pandemic, no doubt, was harsh with women especially. But what we can, few of the lessons that we can draw from this pandemic would be, first and foremost is the remote work. Because this pandemic has shown that employers are actually have accepted the fact that working from a remote place or working from home can be as effective as being in the office. So these policies and most of the organizations have adopted work from home as a policy, and that will enable the working women to re-enter the job market after maybe because they may have taken a break or because of the pandemic they resigned. They can come back now that the job market is open. If you have a family to take care of still, you may have aging parents or aging family members to look after or your children to look after. I think organizations are more open for such and they will consider, that's what I think. And therefore use this opportunity which has come out of a scenario like a pandemic, that remote work can still be taken considered by. Second and most important, which I think, is the self-care. And the pandemic has highlighted that more than anything else, because if you see, you have to put on your own oxygen mask first. When we travel in by airlines, that is the first one of the few things which remains with us for the safety instruction that we receive, that put your own mask first. So as women, we work on both fronts, at home and at work front. We also need to take care of ourselves. We should be mindful of our mental as well as the physical well-being. So it is very important for us to spend time for taking care of ourselves. Make time for activities that you like. You can do Zumba, you can do yoga, you can do meditation. There are so many things, whatever you love to do, sing, dance, paint, travel. But I think pandemic highlighted that factor that mental well-being is equally important. The next lesson that we can take away from this pandemic is we accelerated the process of becoming more digital. I mean, what was unthinkable of communicating with the tax department through digital means, doing tax hearings to a VC, was a never heard of scenario. But that has happened in the last 2 years. We have had communication remotely. So digital has become more prevalent. Indian families discovered digital in the pandemic, I would say, because be it your homes, school from home, sitting at home, doing school over a mobile or a laptop, health consulting, availability of nursing assistance, shopping. I mean, you can shop, I think, everything under the sun now. Even you can buy real estate over online facility. So make use of such apps or services to get your family and yourself accustomed to all this, and you can focus at work. So you can now think of easing your home responsibilities a bit and focusing fully on work. And as Neetu and Pinky both have highlighted, our Indian culture is so different. I mean, women in India generally are in a family support system. Many of us live with extended families, with our in-laws and parents. We have relatives around to help look after children, or our aging parents. It is also easier to get domestic help. I mean, if you compare our situation with the Western countries, I think India is in a much better situation. So we need to build that support system to get us back on track and working again. I think these are the few things which I think we can pick up from the pandemic to go ahead.
Oh, those are lovely. And I think the one that you mentioned about taking care of the self, I think women fail in that miserably. We put ourselves as the last priority, and often we neglect our health, and then we get into trouble later on. So I think those are, I think to all the women here, we must reiterate that you have to look after yourself because no one else will. And not that they won't, but it's just that it's your own responsibility first to look after yourself. And that beautiful analogy about wearing the oxygen masks, I think all of us will remember that image and say that let's take care of ourselves also, right? So I would like to pick Pinky's mind on if there are 2 or 3 things that you're going to kind of advise to young chartered accountants who are just starting their journey, right? And some of them I'm sure are joining Smita soon. Because the big fours have become the hub for young chartered accountants to get trained, right? What would be the 2 or 3 things you will tell them that young chartered accountants, and I want the young chartered accountants who are listening to this panel to absorb every word, right? So Pinky ma'am, what's the advice to them?
Yeah. So Sharada, the days have gone where, Neetu, Smita, we all worked, in the sense. Nowadays, nobody wants, even the in-laws, not even the husband wants, that my wife should sit at home or my daughter-in-law should sit at home. There is a vast change. The in-laws have also been broadened up that let her use the, her, so much of qualifications. I don't want her to be in the kitchen. And they themselves also keep the support system, to help the, the daughter-in-law. I'm telling you, there's a vast change. The days of ours were not there, where we used to get up early to cook, then go to office, come back, and in 5 minutes we are just in the kitchen, to be very frank. That they said this we are doing for our own, as an hobby. It was not a necessity. Otherwise, they used to feel it. Uska bachcha to acha kamata hai. वो तो मेरी खातिरदारी अच्छी कर सकेगा बैठ के. So what she is doing is to pursue her hobby. It is not that कि भाई this is for the good quality life, which the family will enjoy, So that full perceptions, I think my co-panelists will also agree to me that now there is a sea change, that none of the in-laws, not even the husbands wants their wife or their daughter-in-law to sit at home, They want that they do something productive, they use their qualifications, educations, and the CA being a degree, which is the toughest degree, so nobody would like them to sit at home. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would like to that have patience. These millennium generations and the Y generations don't have a patience at all. I'm telling you. Earlier, I would have received the thrashing, shoutings from my bosses, but there you can, shout or tell something in a loud voice to any of your millennial, your colleagues or your subordinates. I dare. You can't. See, they don't have a patience, and they are very clear in their mind. No late sitting, no working on the holidays. There the many demands are there. I'm telling you this, I'm telling out of my own experience. I'm facing that. I have to be very careful when I choose any words to tell them if the things are not up to mark, The days have gone where me, Smita and Neetu, we used to work like we have never seen. Many times I have not seen even Sundays, Saturdays.
Even now, sometimes now also.
I reach home at 2 o'clock in the night, 3 o'clock in the night. The thing is but that has paid me. That has paid Neetu. That has paid Smita to be in this position, They don't have a patience. They all want to climb the ladder very fast. That cannot be the case, The thing is that in 1 year, your contribution is not recognized. Do an introspect and where you went wrong. Instead of leaving the organization, ultimately the management is going to look at your talent, your contributions and all these things. And good organizations like ours, Birla, Tatas and all these things, they are going to recognize all these IT, Infosys and, the TCS of a kind. They are going to recognize your contributions. They are going to be. So I think not even this, no, I'm only not talking about the women force, but at present also, the male force also, they don't have a patience. एक बार इंक्रीमेंट कम दिया, वो दिया, चिट्ठी आ जाएगी बैठ के, मैडम हम छोड़ रहे हैं बैठ के. They don't even understand that how much time we have spent on the time, on the resource, on the training them, nurturing them, mentoring them, shaping up them. They don't have a patience. I think these generations, they have to understand, they have to have a maturity. This is a message I would like to give. And for the females, please, work-life balance and all these things are the myth. If you have a passion, drive it. Automatically, the God's favors will come, and the support system and everything is going to flow through. To be very frank.
Thank you. That was lovely. And Neetu, would you like to add your bits of advice for the young chartered accountants just beginning?
So I would just like to add that, very similar to what Pinky said, I also see that patience and that, that finesse is not there. They want to just finish and run off. So you have to get that finesse. The things have to be completed the way it has to be. Now that is very critical, because only then you can go up. And today's generation, I am also seeing that what they want, 2 saal mein cabin mil jaye, we become senior manager, general manager. They have to work hard for that. It is not possible. We have not reached, or we didn't get this cabin overnight. We have also sat on the bench. We have also slogged. We have done all that in life. In fact, only after you slog, you learn. Now that is something which is missing in today's generation. They think, itna kaam karke kaun mehnat karega? Chalo, bahut kaam hai, let's go away. That's not the way. Like, I sticked on for 17 years in one organization, and I would say that that was my biggest asset today also, because the kind of exposure I got. But today's generation, I don't think they want to stick to one place for 3 years also. Every 2 years they want a change. Bore ho gaye. So please if you're liking, you should like what you're doing. Enjoy it. Very important. You should enjoy your work, not think that salary ke liye main kar rahi hu. You should always enjoy what you're doing. I think that is the key. Enjoy your work, do it with passion, complete with finesse. You yourself will feel better. I think that's the key.
That's well said. Smita, let's hear your advice to the young CAs.
So sure. So what I agree with the panelists is that, you have completed the CA, you have got the CA degree, which itself is a very big achievement. And therefore you can achieve anything that you can dream of. So no doubt you should dream big, but at the same time you should be willing to put in that hard work, the efforts that are required to achieve whatever goal you have set for yourself. And for that, you also need to keep learning every day. So you need to keep yourself updated of whatever changes in the areas that you're working on, or your area of specialization. If you should be on top of things, then only you can dream of, growing in your career, or, seeking whatever big dream you have. Because I have seen today's generation is also bold enough to experiment in new career avenues. As chartered accountants, you will find a lot of chartered accountants getting into entrepreneur mode. I mean, it is a good thing, but I think you should not give up very easily. If you say, mere ko 1 saal mein I want to make my company do so much crores of business, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to put in the efforts. So my advice to the young CAs would be, dream big, but also be willing to put in the efforts.
Amazing. Such, I think, valuable gems of advice and inputs coming for young CAs. Please lap it up. And, you're seeing veterans here sharing their, advice for your benefit. So I think you will all gain with this. And if the panelists are ready, and if they're okay and willing, I am inspired to do a rapid fire session with each one of you. Are you game?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's really sporty of each of you. Whom should I start with? Maybe I should start with Pinky?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, all right. Your favorite book? You're on mute.
My favorite book, I read lots of management book, to be very frank, but hardly I get time to read anything because the time is just managing the family and all, to be very frank. I like to be an avid reader, but I have parked it after my retirement.
Okay, your biggest support. Only one word.
Husband.
Okay. Dosa or dokla?
Obviously, being Gujarati, dokla, yaar.
Sunday to you means what in one word?
Sunday is relaxing because Saturday I finish off all my work, half day office, half day work. So Sunday is my time of me time for me.
One thing that you would like to change in your habits.
Impatience.
You want to become more patient. Okay, and what's your hobby?
My hobby is yoga.
Yoga. The best compliment you got so far?
I had the compliment award from the ET Prime.
Wow. So let's clap for you. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Last year I got a award from the ET Prime as a best woman in the field of finance.
Oh wow, very nice. That's really, inspiring, right? Something that hard work never goes unrewarded. So yeah, well deserved. Okay, so thank you for that, participating in that. That was amazing to know a little more about you through that round. And we move to Neetu now. Neetu, who is the leader who inspires you the most?
So my mentor, whom I reported in Jyoti Laboratories for 17 years, Mr. Ullas Kamath.
Lovely. I hope he's listening to this and he'll feel really nice. And your biggest support?
My husband.
Italian or continental food?
Italian.
Monday to you means what in one word?
Too much of meetings. So
the Monday blues. Okay.
Yes,
and your
we have a weekly Monday. So Monday management meet to Monday morning 2.5 hours. So the day starts like that.
Yeah. And your hobby?
I love dancing.
Oh, what kind of dance?
So I do free Bollywood, then Zumba. So that keeps me fit and it's a stress buster for me. Whenever I'm tired, I do that.
Multi-talented. Chartered accountants can do anything, basically. The best compliment you've got so far?
So at the age of 32, I did handle the IPO starting from the pitch to the listing. And I got award from my company as well as Institute of Chartered Accountant gave me an award in 2008 for being a young CA leader. So
wow. We want to clap for you. That was amazing. That's amazing. I think a full circle of knowing it all, right? In the finance spectrum. Yeah, Smita, are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, a movie that you love.
Golmaal.
A movie star that you love.
Tom Hanks.
Okay. Your biggest support?
My husband.
Wow, look at the commonality. Everybody supports husband. And mine too, actually. Chinese or Indian food?
Chinese.
Friday to you means what?
More work to complete so that I can enjoy the weekend.
All right. And your hobby?
Reading.
Okay. What are you reading currently?
So currently I'm reading Becoming by Michelle Obama.
Wow. Okay. I think there's also a movie for that. I think there's also a movie of that book.
They're making into some web series over.
Yeah. Very nice. And the best compliment you got so far?
When I was elevated to partner, I got a lot of congratulatory messages. So one call I got from one of the senior managers, and she said something which really touched me. She said that, you are an inspiration for us. Wow. And we look forward, to you because she is working part-time. So she said, that has given me a lot of encouragement to pursue my dream. So.
Wow. We want to clap for you as well. I think that's really nice. I think everybody feels good when your work is appreciated or your journey is really inspiring to others. You really feel good. And I think I learned a lot on this panel today, and I also saw a lot of similarities in our stories. So what I also kind of sense is that this discussion has ignited a lot of things for people who are listening to us. And for us, it's reaffirmed the fact that if we put our minds to something, we can do it, because we are women, we are awesome, we are limitless, and we can change the world. With these words, I'd like to open the panel for question answer sessions, so that people who are listening, that there are these wonderful participants who are listening and holding on to each of the words that all you fabulous panelists have been speaking. If you have any questions, I would request you to unmute yourself and ask your question to the panelists. Yeah, we have about 10 minutes for the Q&A. Anybody has any questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone here. This is CA Taruna Murarka here. Now, it was really inspiring to listen to all these personalities today out here. And one question I had in my mind is that um, uh, uh, is that see what I'm actually looking over for a switch over to a corporate job actually. I have been in the CA industries for last 10 years. Now I want to when I want to shift to the corporate here, I'm finding it out. It is you see, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm finding it out. Corporate does not have that support system to have this thing, to have wherever I am facing it that way. I find it corporates to have this age 40 age groups, and they're reluctant to have this the profile sorted out. Why I find that way, to that age bar comes in somewhere in this thing. So can you please shed your views on this thing?
Taruna, your question is addressed to whom?
To anyone can
Okay,
answer.
okay, all right, okay. So over to anybody who wants to answer this.
So I can take it. 40 is not the age. Like I really think that why will anybody not consider? In fact, I prefer people from the chartered accountants to industry, because they bring in a different perspective and then better organized. So I really I don't see any reason why a person at a 40 will not get a job. Only after 55, I think people don't want to, because in next 2-3 years you will retire, and therefore they don't want to spend time and energy to train, and then you retire and then they're left again to go for a new person. At 40, it should not be difficult, unless there's something else, like the profile is not matching or there's some other issue. So I don't see this to be a problem.
Okay, because I have faced this thing, and I have applied for corporate positions, but the thing is that I have never received the feedback. Maybe the profile was maybe the thing.
So yeah, maybe the profile
maybe
for which is not matching. That can be the reason, but not the age. Nobody has given you this reason, right? You are thinking that it's the age, so don't think that.
Yeah, it can be, but I've not actually not asked the thing. What is the reason?
Because 40 is not the age.
I was just wondering why. I thought
it's only, I think, profile mismatch. I don't think it can be any other reason.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else who wants to ask a question?
I would like to raise one question to all the panelists. Is that how to overcome that guilt feeling which we have for giving less time to our kids, or when we find ourselves involved in the work, like 4 or 5 hours, even if we are doing work from home, but then we sit for 7 to 8 hours, 9 hours at home, and our kids keep on doing one or the other things, or they are busy with their own YouTube's games, and nowadays kids are like this only. And they don't follow those timetables and instructions which we ask them to do, and we have this continuous in the back of our mind. We have this thought ki we are not justifying them, it's just a beginning for their career, and what we are doing, we are getting selfish. How to overcome it? It's my personal feel, actually.
But I think now all these things will get over, because the schools are also starting the online. Everybody faced because of this COVID, to be very frank, that we have, to work, and we have to tell our children, don't disturb us, not possible, to, help them out, because COVID, in fact, I don't know, but on the contrary, we worked more, to be very frank.
Actually,
on the contrary, office, we were going, we had a discipline that once we come back home, maybe at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but afterwards, no tension of this. It used to go until 11, 12 in the night. Saturday, Sundays also I have not seen in my life,
And no holidays.
Yes.
No holidays. So all these will pass through. All these rough times will pass through in everybody's stage. Even we had faced that problem, but that time the schools were, the online, it was not offline. But many times it happens that since we reach to the higher positions, we are too much busy, So we don't get time even, so sometimes we feel it that why I have to keep a tuition teacher when I myself is capable of,
Actually,
teaching my own child, I can be a better teacher, instead of, I can teach in a better way and all. But then I think many times if they have fallen sick, I used to keep, my child with my mother-in-law and all, because I had to go, I had a compulsion to go because some of the important meetings are there or some hearings are there which needs to be. So that guilt feeling comes. But I think at times you overcome, you need to be tough. See, the people who are working has already put the stone in their heart when they kept that 3 months old child or a 6 months old child and they've started working. Those women who have not kept that stone on their heart, they're already sitting at home, though they are educated. We have crossed that bridge by working, to be very frank. So I think some, faith on the God, some faith on the supporting systems, and even as long as you feel that what you are doing right, I think your conscience is clear. You're not spending on time sitting on a beauty parlor or going for a movie or
kitty parties
or a kitty party.
We don't do anything like that.
I think if your conscience is clear that what is thing, I think that guilt feeling will go. Everybody has passed through that guilt feeling. I'm telling you, even the phase was there in my life. The tears used to come. But then you have to be strong from inside, that what you are doing right, your conscience is clear, the God is with you, the things will flow in their own way, to be very frank.
And just to add 1 or 2 small things which you can do is make a religious short-term, vacation plan with your family. So that will help. Like I used to religiously do 2 trips in 1 year, 7 days every 6 months. And we used to do that religiously. So that you can then, that 7 days was for your family. So some such things you can do, you will definitely feel better. Even your family will get some time, kids will like. So those are some small things we can adjust, and when you are free, take them out shopping. So that's how, you can overcome the guilt, but don't feel guilty.
Yeah. So I think this question is very, very pertinent because as women, we tend to feel that we are responsible for everybody and especially our close ones, loved ones, it's natural. But I think I'd like to add to what Pinky and Neetu have said and say that what I did, I believed in the concept of quality time. So I knew that throughout the day, I'm not going to be in the house, right? And in the mornings, I'm just kind of doing things for them. And in the night when I go, they're almost getting ready to bed, right? So it's about saying that when is it that I want to plan quality time with my kid every day? Because you have to keep the connect every day. So you choose, is it morning or is it evening? And find that time where you are only with the kid. Even if it means you're taking that kid to a park. I used to really do that. I used to come back and I used to say, whatever time it is, I'm going to take my kid and take her to the park. It was a time only for me and my kid, right? So even that half an hour was very precious. And you develop that great bond and the kid will always remember that, yeah, I remember going with mama to the park. You're not doing it for anything, but because you feel good about saying that I have spent quality time. So I think we all have to choose quality because we have limited time, right? So that would be my thoughts.
Just to add to the conversation, Deepti, what I think is sometimes the guilt is only in our mind. It is not no complaint from the other side. So maybe you should sometimes talk to your family, talk to the child that, this is what mama feels or this is what I think. And you'll be surprised to know that, they don't blame you for not being there for you at some times. So even that could be a reason, you start feeling less guilty about it.
Yeah. I'll just share the present situation. He enjoys more because 5 years you are working, he is free to play all those video games and YouTube. In fact, nowadays kids play online with their friends. So they have good time interaction with them. They communicate. So it's, yeah, you are very correct. But we feel what we can do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
And making me feel that I should not feel guilty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And what you're feeling is normal. Every woman goes through it. So it's not, and yeah, we all find ways to overcome. Yes, any more questions, ladies? You got the best minds sitting here in Neetu, Pinky, and where is Smita? Yeah. And if you don't have any more questions, then I'd like to hand it over to CA Falguni Shah.
I would like to add one thing. After listening all the learned panelists being on such a high position and listening their journey, it seems so simple that we all are same. We all go through same emotions, same struggles, same persistence. The only difference is we should not give up in between. That's the biggest learning or takeaway from this session. And I'm very grateful to you, Sharada ma'am, for wonderfully emphasizing and organizing it, and to WIRC for bringing this concept. Over to you, Falguni ma'am.
Hi all panelists. I'm very, very glad. I'm very happy that WIRC
Falguni, I think there is somebody whose audio is creating a background noise. Can everyone else switch off their...
Yeah.
Please go on mute. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi ma'am, and WIRC, I'm already thankful to them for giving me an opportunity with great honor to give vote of thanks to all the good panelists who have shared their experiences. And I'm very, very happy, Sharada ma'am, you have really carried out a big, in a big way, contribution by taking input from all learned ladies. No doubt we all are learned, but it is definitely a good experience to listen to other experiences and make our own way. We are always born tough, and we are always ready to fight for the struggle which we have, a courage to face them. So that makes us all the way, happy to carry out our life journey with work balance and life balance with the family responsibilities also. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, would like every participant here to carry out a big vote of thanks for all the panelists and everybody here with a big loud of applause.
Thanks WIRC for giving us the opportunity. Sharada being a fantastic moderator, and to my co-panelists Neetu and Smita, we had a wonderful time together to share our journey of success. See you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Neetu and Smita for a fabulous sharing on your part. I think you just helped everybody blossom and inspire everyone. So thank you to all the participants for being amazing, and look forward to seeing more success stories from each one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.